go. Whoa! This is the new car. Welcome back to another episode of Project Driveway. This week I'm going to try and put the flywheel on and the clutch pack for starters, and then I'm not sure what after that. There's too much stuff to do, but the flywheel has taken a while to get on due to me not having a torque wrench. But my mate Jimmy over at Jimmy's Works, he's just opened up his own little YouTube channel. Go check that out. He's going to put up his first episode ASAP. He's just editing up at the moment. He just manual swapped his JZX 100 Mark II Chaser. Go check that out. But he has kindly lent me his torque wrench so I can put the flywheel on and clutch pack. And I think that's kind of all I need to use the torque wrench on. But anyway, I also had a comment on one of my videos saying what I got and what I need to manual swap the MX-5, like everything included, not including tools, not including replacement parts, for example, the rear main seal. So, what I got, manual gearbox, of course, slave cylinder, which it should come with anyway, the clutch master cylinder, flywheel, clutch, pressure plate. What I also got was the pedals, tail shaft. Oh, that light's in a bad spot. I apologise. So yeah, tail shaft, power plant frame. Is that it? And I think that was it. I think. But yeah, you can get some secondary things that didn't come in my little package. For example, ECU, and yeah, just a couple little bits and bobs. Like my gearbox came with all the sensors. Sometimes, I don't know, they probably wouldn't come with sensors. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of a small package. It's not overly big. I guess loom if you want to do a loom swap, but I had a look and it's way too hard to change the auto loom over. There's just way too much because it goes from the battery all the way through the bottom of the car onto the back of the engine, so it's one big loom. So where I'm just going to chop it up and change it. And then if you manual loom swap, you'll have to do cluster, and then maybe ECU on top, and maybe dash loom. Yeah, it's a bit of a headache. So first things first, let's get back under the car and put this flywheel on. Oh, whoops. I have not pulled this thing off yet, so I don't even know what the clutch looks like. It's pretty fucked. There really isn't much meat left on this. Oh, and that flywheel's fucked too. And I've got the flywheel bolster. As you can see, there's like no line here, and over here, and here, and there, and there. So it's pretty fucked. But what are you gonna do? And so is this. Oh, my hands are fucked. So as you can see, all those mini cracks are not good. They're heat cracks, and this is all burn marks. It's had a hard life. There's cracks all over it. Look at those. bearing feels good, which is weird. Usually that's the first thing that fucks out. And it's stupid heavy. We're gonna put this on, put the bolts in, torque that to spec, and then I got this, a clutch aligning tool. So what you would do, you'd pop that through there. Sorry. Yeah. You'd pop that through there. Shouldn't there be one here? Oh, that's probably what that end is for. My bad. Yeah, so you'd put that in just so it's aligned directly in the middle. It's not too high, not too low, left, right, of course, you know what I mean. It's directly in the middle. And then you'd go ahead and bolt the pressure plate up. With the tool still in it, you'll see how I do it. I explain it extremely bad. And what I've actually got as well, which I didn't say before, I've got some blue thread locker, which will stop the vibration from the bolts undoing themselves, if you know what I mean. So sometimes you can tighten them up to spec, but the vibration will, over time, undo the bolts on its own. So this is to prevent that. There is a red version, and there is a purple version. Purple is the weakest, this is the middle, and then red is the strongest, but once it dries, you're not going to get red out very easily. It's going to be a prick. So blue's pretty much perfect for this. A lot of people do it. A lot of people put this in for clutches and stuff. So what we've got to do is I've just wiped down the flywheel just of any impurities that want to sit on it. And it's fucking heavy. Hold up. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this thing needs to get out of the way. Sometimes if you're putting in a new clutch and flywheel, for example, I'd get new bolts as well while you're there, because they sometimes will stretch over time, and depends how hard the life of the car's had, that they'll stretch, and once they stretch they won't tighten down properly, and then you got bigger problems. But this clutch seems pretty fucked, so I'm going to give it like 6 months before it's got to get changed, which sucks ass, but I'm just going to put it in because I'm stupid. So you got the bolt, and then you just want to... Oh, that comes out quick. That's all you want, just a bit of a drop. Let's get this big boy on. That's in, and the way you want to tighten it is doing it in a star pattern. So, for example, the way you tighten a wheel, gone ahead and tighten that up. Like that. And now we want to grab our torque wrench and find out the correct settings for this. It's easy to Google. For example, for any car, you'd go 1994 Mazda MX-5 or Miata, flywheel, torque settings, and it should come up. Maybe double check on a few websites if they match out the same numbers. Go for it. You want to make sure these are tight, because that does not want to move. Like, it wants to move sideways, but you do not want that loosening. So Google told me the flywheel bolts, they want to get torqued down between 96 and 102 Newton meters. So I've put the torque wrench on 100 to hopefully give us a bit of play. Hopefully this won't spin the oh, it's spinning it. Fuck. Alright. We've got something else to deal with. So as you've seen, it was spinning while I was trying to torque it down. That usually happens, well, probably always happens. So what we need to do, you've got down there the crank, or the harmonic balancer. You can see the little there's a nut on it. What we need to do, we need to connect that to like a breaker bar or a spanner or something, and we need to jam it so it will lock the crank shaft up so it won't spin around. And how we do that is, I'm not sure, we've got to figure that out. As you can see, I've managed to wedge the breaker bar on there, so now I've got control of this crankshaft. And what I might have to do is actually get the torque wrench on that side and hold this side at the same time and do the thing. Fuck. Alright, cool. That's what you want to hear. That's tight. Let's do it in a star pattern. Alright, good. 6. Alright. Oh. They might have been, I might have tightened them up too tight with the impact gun, but oh well, what do you do? Alright, so now that's on. Let's get the clutch on. I might keep that breaker bar there just in case. Alright, so they say the pressure plate bolt should be 19 to 25 Newton meters, where the lowest this goes is 38. So I think I just might leave it on that. I'll do one of them, see how tight it is, and then I'll just do the rest of them. And I'll do the rest of them by hand. So, where's the clutch? Oh, we've got this little clutch aligning tool. And this should go through there like, well, it kind of spins a bit. That should be in there nice and tight, which it's not. So, which isn't good. Well, that sucks ass. Anyway, we're going to try and get this on. So, what you would do, get your pressure plate. Ow, my fingers. That hurt. Like so. Line it up. So you've got some dowels that you need to line up as well. Sorry if you can't see, I'm just trying to look to the top. Yep, like that. And like that. So you'd poke the alignment tool through the clutch plate into the bearing on the flywheel, so all that is nice and aligned. And then you grab your bolts. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on. Put that in. Kind of looks lined up, but we're not going to find out until I put the box on, and it just won't go on because the input shaft won't go through the clutch. But it seems to be in there, and it's kind of tight. So I'm going to go around and see if we can nip these up. I don't know how tight it's going to be. Alright, that's tight. That's tight. That's tight. A little bit too tight, but I couldn't do it any less. It's not exactly the tightest. I'll double check if they are the right numbers, but yeah, can pull that out. Can check inside. So as you can see, that is the end of the input shaft straight through. It looks kind of in the middle, which is good because we want the input shaft to go through the clutch disc into the back of there, which is what we want.